So why is Big U representing himself now? Why do you think he's broke? It's just hard to find a good legal defense these days.
No, I think with Big U, I think this is a situation. This is me talking to Eddie Boy. Eddie Boy, I know Big U how I know him. He know him another way. Big U's in a situation where he wants to know everybody that has cooperated or told on him. The only way he can get this 100% is to be the attorney. So everything they would give to his attorney, his attorney may not pay attention to a certain name, right? Or because it may not really be relevant to the charges they fighting, right? He might have got pulled over on the traffic stop and gave me a name. The police didn't do nothing with it, but still is telling, right? So now you're in a situation where Big U is going to get all the documents, be able to see everybody that's cooperating against him.
But why couldn't he do that through his attorney?
You're not, because the attorney ain't going to give you everything.
Why not?
He's going to give you what y'all dealing with.
But they work for you.
Yeah, but he's working on these 43 counts, right? Big U want to see this dude got pulled over with a gun, and he said, yeah, well, Big U run the hood. He the one doing this, doing that.
I just don't know why would your lawyer not tell you that?
You miss because it ain't fucking relevant to the 43 counts. But in our world, nigga, you gave the police a statement on it.
But why does it matter if it's not relevant?
Because it's telling.
It's a lawyer.
They're
working with you. If I say to my lawyer, hey, I want to know the names.
Listen, I'm gonna let you tell the white boy.
No, you
shit.
tell me. But I'm asking you a very reasonable question. Why, if I have a lawyer and I ask them, hey, I want the names of this, this, and this from my paperwork.
You don't know what to ask for because you don't know what's there.
Or I could tell my lawyer, hey, send me every single piece of paper from this.
Yeah, and then guess what?
Or send it to somebody on my team on the outside, let them review it, and then they can tell me.
And what if he don't? So in Big U's mind, so you don't understand it. The lawyer gonna go in there and he gonna say, we got these counts. He's gonna pay attention to the paperwork pertaining to these counts. You get what I'm saying? Big U wanna see the A to Z. He wanna see if a motherfucker got pulled over or whatever and mention was such and such hang with him.
I just don't think you have to be your own lawyer in order to get that information.
You're missing what he's doing, right? I know exactly what he's doing. Eddie Boy really figured it out. So him being his own attorney, he got 12 months. They gonna give him all the paperwork. He's gonna go through all the paperwork. If I can mistake, in his 26,000 pages of wiretap, 46,000 pages of evidence, right? Once he has seen all his work and what he needs to see, then you're going to see another hearing where he's going to say, it's too much for me, Your Honor. I need legal representation. Right? Now, what's the objective? I believe, I could be wrong, a Big UC 40, 50, 60 of his homies then gave information up. See, all information they gave up didn't necessarily have to lead to a charge. You get what I'm saying? If it's one of his homies, they pulled him over, yo, what's up? What you got a gun case? You got something you can tell us? Yeah, I've been hearing Big U talking about whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. It may not have went nowhere, but the fact that he told law enforcement that, and Big U's eyes and mind, you's a rat. You get what I'm saying? So if he's looking at all these people working against him, right? At his age, I could be wrong, making an assumption. I think he'll use that to justify, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna save myself.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
But aren't you of the opinion that he's already working with him?
Yeah, I mean, we already know that by the GRID program.
Okay.
But do you know, listen, we got a call last week, 600 did. One of the dudes is trying to get the GRID program contract, right? He went in and tried to get it. He can meet the criteria except one. You know what the one criteria he said he couldn't meet?
What?
He said, bro, I got a call to apologize to you, 600. Y'all was right. You must have 5 confidential informants within your program. Okay, now we talking about
in the GRID program. So but isn't it presumably like 100 or hundreds of employees?
Your contract and your employee count, 5 of them got to be CIs.
Okay.
Either documented or will, right? So they called 600 and told him, I guess they went to try to get the contract, some other dudes from 6-0, right? Or whatever, right? So I'm just listening to him, right? But at the end of the day, I believe he went pro per to get access to all the paperwork, right? So he can see the entirety of who's doing what, who's saying what. Because you got to remember, in a 4-5 year time period, it's all kind of people in there who then gave up all kind of information, whether it led to something or not. If you give some information up on the individual, he's going to see that as that. He get to seeing 40, 50 of his homeboys from his neighborhood that was doing that. I think he's going to use that to justify his decision.
Okay. But shouldn't he be more focused on effectively fighting these charges and preparing his legal defense than worrying about who told
Bro, how
him?
much time? Bro, he ain't got nothing. They say he's looking at 600 years, homie. He ain't got nothing but time on his hands.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
If you assume that he is going to be found guilty and have to serve a lengthy sentence.
Listen, what I'm saying is, if they give him all this paperwork in a period of 6 months, he goes through this shit.
Right.
And see, then he can file another motion to say, after reviewing all, because he's got a astronomical amount of
Who
documents.
could he even tell on? Isn't he like the top of the pyramid?
You don't know who am I? What are you talking about? The top? Okay, now see, this is where you kind
But
of
he's who they're after.
okay.
Who can he tell?
If you're at the top of the pyramid, right? Fuck it, this building right here, right? You the top of the building, right? You would know everything about everybody in here, right? If this motherfucker has some weird shit he did, or if this motherfucker need to borrow some rent money, you gonna know, right? So the top
Quite
of the
often.
pyramid,
More than anybody else,
the
probably.
top of the pyramid in the neighborhood more than likely knows what? Everything that went on in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Now you talking about a dude that got 25, 35, like a 40-year plus span in a neighborhood. Some things ain't got no statute of limitations.
So you're saying that if Big U could help them solve 50 murders,
I don't know.
they would be very forgiving
I
about...
don't know what he can help them solve. What I do know is that if you're at the top of something and you're the guy that everybody's coming to, for whatever reason, there's a good chance you know a whole lot.
Yeah. I would assume he knows more than almost anybody.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now he's in a situation where he looking at, man, I got 40, 50 of these niggas. These niggas is really, this is the reason why, and this, you know, they gonna start making up their own shit. Right? This is the reason why I'm in here, right? Not what you did, but they gonna say all this led to this. At 58, he might try to use that to save himself. If he can, I don't know. I don't know what he'll know. I don't know. Because you got to remember, I don't know him from that. Now, talking to Eddie Boy came up with him from that era. Our era was all building on some business shit. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know what all he can know, but I do know this. I saw an 80-year-old man arrested from a body he did 40-some years ago.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So if you got 10 cold cases from the 80s, while you in the joint, niggas done told you stuff about another 5 or 10. Since you been out, you know about another 5 or 10, and somebody walk in. We seen this in the Frank Lucas story. Frank Lucas was looking at 70 years, right? He gave him all the information he gave him, got it down to 15. If a motherfucker go in there and say, look, I got information on 15, 25 cold cases.
Yeah.
And I know who robbed them banks and did this and did that. It's a good chance they may give you some amnesty. I don't know if that's the case, but I believe he's just going pro per so he can get that paperwork and read it himself in entirety.
Because if Big U got 15 years, that's got to feel like the fucking deal of the century. Get out in your early 70s, still be able to have, 10 years or however much.
At that point, we know something went on.
You want to know something? I'll tell you off camera who it was, but I was talking to this OG the other day. Very OG person in the LA streets. And he said to me, he goes, you want to know how I know Big U was a real demon? And I'm like, what? How? He's like, because when he was locked up for that long stretch, this is somebody who was locked up at the same time as him. He said that whole time that he was locked up, he was acting like he was a Muslim.
That's a fact.
In order to basically insulate himself and keep himself safe from certain threats. And then as soon as he got out, he was like, fuck this shit.
No. You can't do that.
But he doesn't claim to be a Muslim on the streets, right? Or has he? And was he for a while, and then I don't know.
Everybody knew he was from Rolling 60s when he was locked up. Everybody knew that he practiced the Muslim faith. Everybody.
But he got into that in prison, right?
I don't know where he got into it. Everybody know that his Muslim name is Hannibal. I don't believe it. It is people that told me when they was on the yard with him because they was Muslims that he functioned as a Muslim, right?
Okay.
But I don't think he ever denounced or disassociated from his neighborhood. I believe if anything was going on that yard pertaining to that, I believe he was in the middle of that. And I'm gonna be real. I say it. Those that are gang banging and Muslim, you just gotta okay, well, what's going on with that? You know what I'm saying? Maybe they falling short, and maybe it's a continued struggle. What they face, but I've never heard him not get involved in something that was going on with that card.
Okay.
Because he said he was a Muslim. I ain't never heard that.
Okay. This person had a different view.
And not to say that whoever this individual was, you know what I'm saying, ain't telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? So, like Eddie Boy tell you, I'm a Muslim. I'm a civilian. I'm not no Crip. I'm not none of that. So, but I've never heard Big U say that.
Damn. So
he's always said neighborhood.